now. So it's kind of funny. So as you guys know, my name is Sarah Steinhoff. I am a senior admissions counselor in the Office of Admissions here at Elmhurst University, of course, working from home today. And I am joined by the lovely Assistant Director of Financial Aid Counseling, Kelsey Plefka. And we're so excited to have you guys here for our college transition webinar series. And, you know, of course, being the finances being the main topic this week. I know throughout the past few weeks, we've talked a lot about getting organized and adulting and all of these kind of transitions that are so integral to the college transition process. And finances it's a heavy one, you guys. I get that this stuff can be a little, you know, confusing to navigate, but just by you guys being here today, you are playing that adult card and you're here trying to understand it. And that is just going to bode so well for you in your future for asking these questions now rather than in August when bills are hitting and it starts to get even more overwhelming. So Kelsey is our expert. She supports our students, you know, really all students. I mean, she works with everyone and she's seen it all. So she's really prepared to kind of guide us through the college transition process as far as the finances. So I will turn it over to her and then we are going to address all questions at the end. So feel free to just pop questions in the chat and I will address them at the end. So it's all you, Kelsey. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everybody. As Sarah said, my name is Kelsey. I work in the Office of Student Financial Services as the Assistant Director of Financial Aid Counseling. So if you've popped into our office for a meeting or perhaps popped into our Zoom room for a meeting, you may have met with myself or my colleague, Erica. Both of us work to counsel all of our prospective and continuing students here at Elmhurst University on student finance as it relates to your financial aid, your billing, and your payment here at Elmhurst. So this college transition series webinar is going to focus specifically on the billing and payment kind of sections of the college transition process. So we're going to start with the different steps regarding billing and payment. So we're assuming that students at this point have already completed your FAFSA application or your alternative application for Illinois aid and have already completed your application for admission. So all of these steps are going to be starting after you've received your financial aid package and your scholarship offer from the admission office. If you haven't completed your FAFSA or your alternative application for Illinois aid at this point, that's perfectly fine. There is still time to do so. We would encourage you to do that sooner rather than later so we can get you a detailed financial aid statement, provide you with some good information on what it's going to cost you to attend Elmhurst University this fall before the bill actually comes due, okay? So again, if you haven't completed those applications just yet, please do so at your earliest convenience. Or if you're not planning to complete those applications, not a problem. These next steps here that I'm going to talk about today will kind of go through the process of getting your billing statement and then paying that tuition bill this fall. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start here with just some general information about the Office of Student Financial Services. And just one reminder before I kind of dive into this presentation here, I'll be answering all of your questions at the end. So if you have questions that pop into your head, feel free to put them in the chat. Sarah's going to help me kind of moderate the Q&A. And then at the end of the presentation, if you want to turn your mic on and ask any questions verbally, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But in the meantime, let's just stay muted and put your questions in the chat. So again, I work in the Office of Student Financial Services, which is located in Goebel Hall. If you do decide to come to campus and wander about, that's where you'll find me. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. We are bringing staff back to the office at this point, so we're taking in-person appointments. We are still taking virtual appointments if that's what you prefer, but you're welcome to even just pop up to our counter to ask any questions of our counselors or our fabulous student employees that sit at our front desk. Our office manages the need-based financial aid, including your federal grants, your state grants, your federal student loans, as well as some institutional need-based aid as well. We also handle billing and payments for our students on campus. You're more than welcome to schedule an appointment with a student financial services counselor if you want something on our calendar. You can do so at elmhurst.edu/finaid. Sarah, if you wouldn't mind just putting that link in the chat, that would be awesome. And then that will also allow you to schedule an appointment with us, or you're welcome to schedule one through the Office of Admission if you're coming for a full day on campus to do like a campus tour, a visit with your admission counselor, things like that. So 2 different ways to schedule an appointment. So whatever one is easiest for you, you will go ahead and be able to schedule a time to sit down with either, again, myself or Erica. We do also have several social media accounts, so feel free to search at Elmhurst FFF and follow us on those social media accounts. Okay, so navigating your finances for your fall semester at Elmhurst University kind of starts right now. So we're in a good place at the end of June to kind of start talking about these details and what goes into navigating your finances. For this presentation, we're going to focus mainly between July and August, that yellow to blue area of the timeline you see on our screen. This presentation is being recorded, so if you ever want to refer to this timeline again to make sure you're staying up to date on all of the different boxes to check as it relates to your finances, you're welcome to go revisit this timeline. We also have this timeline saved in our office, so if you want a copy of it, you can feel free to email me at the end of the presentation. I'll send it over. But we're going to be focusing mainly on the July through August section of this timeline here. So starting right about now in July, in late June, early July, you're going to want to think about starting to accept your financial aid package. So again, this timeline is assuming that you've already been admitted to Elmhurst University, you've completed your FAFSA or your alternative application for Illinois aid, and you've received that financial aid package from us, okay? You can view your financial aid package right through your self-service account on your campus portal, okay? And you can see the screenshot of the homepage of the campus portal right on your screen here, and self-service is circled in red. That's the icon you'll click on to go ahead and view your financial aid package. Self-service will help detail all of the scholarships you're receiving from our admission office, any federal or state grants you're receiving from the FAFSA, any federal work study you've received, as well as any federal student loans you have been offered. Self-service is also where you're going to go to accept these pieces of financial aid. So just for your information, we assume you all want the free money, those scholarships, those grants. We assume that you want the money that doesn't have to be repaid, okay? So we automatically accept those types of financial aid on your behalf for you, okay? The only things you need to take action on and let us know that you want to utilize are going to be your federal work study or your federal student loans, okay? So that is where you're going to go to your self-service account to accept those items. If you do intend to borrow your federal student loans that are offered when you complete a FAFSA application, you will also want to complete the master promissory note and the entrance counseling if this is going to be your first time borrowing student loans from the federal government. The master promissory note is essentially an electronic signature that notifies your lenders that you're promising to pay back that money after graduation. So as you may know, anything that's labeled as a loan is borrowed money and must be repaid. In terms of federal student loans, those loans do not have to be repaid until 6 months after you graduate. But your lender, the person loaning you the money, wants to know that you do intend to repay that money. Okay, so that's what the master promissory note indicates. It's an electronic signature in which the student fills out and notifies the lender, I'm going to be borrowing these funds and I promise to pay you back. Okay, it doesn't take a very long time. You do have to read through some information and input some like address information, phone number information. So I would say set aside about 10 minutes to do your master promissory note. The entrance counseling will take you a little bit longer, okay? So the entrance counseling is an online tutorial that teaches you about the loans you're being offered and the loans that you intend to borrow. It'll teach you how interest is accrued. It'll show you an idea of what your repayment is going to look like after graduation. So it's a really unique and informative financial literacy tool that you can use to better explain to yourself how these loans work and how you're going to repay them in the future. All right. I would recommend setting aside maybe 30, 35 minutes for that entrance counseling. Of course, you can blow through it, not pay attention to information and just move on with it. But we certainly recommend kind of sitting down for that 30 minutes and taking the time to absorb the information that it's giving you. By borrowing student loans, it's helping you fund your education, but there is that obligation to repay. So we do really want you to be informed before you sign on that dotted line and agree to borrow the funding. Okay. So make sure that you're completing that master promissory note and entrance counseling if you accept your loans on self-service. If you do not complete the master promissory note and the entrance counseling, we can't apply to that money. All right. If you do have questions about completing these items, you're more than welcome to reach out to my office, Student Financial Services. We're happy to help you through anywhere where you might get stuck or answer any questions you have. There are direct links to these two items on your self-service account, but if you want to go directly to the website, it's studentaid.gov. And lastly, when accepting your financial aid package on self-service, you may notice a kind of a notification box at the top of your self-service screen. It will be identified by a large yellow exclamation point, and it will say missing documents, or you have missing documents. If you see this notification box, it's not going to be present on every student's screen, but if you see this notification box, please don't ignore it, okay? It means that we are requesting some additional information from you to finalize the financial aid awards that we're offering for the school year, okay? So you must submit those documents before, again, we can apply your financial aid package to your tuition bill, okay? Unsubmitted documents will prevent your financial aid from dispersing. So it's important that if you do see that notification box, click on the link, read through what documents we're requesting, and turn in those documents as soon as possible. Again, if you have any questions about what we're requesting or questions about filling out the worksheets that we need, you're more than welcome to give us a call or contact our office. We're happy to walk you through that information. Okay, so that's a little bit about accepting your financial aid package and taking the next steps to finalize the awards that are going to be applied to your tuition bill. All right, so moving on. So you've accepted your financial aid package and you've enrolled in classes. Okay, you've come to campus over the summer, or you've attended one of our virtual registration days, and you are now enrolled in classes at Elmhurst University. Okay, now you're going to receive your billing statement, which means that we are charging you for the classes that you enroll in. Okay, unfortunately, we all know at this point college costs money. All right, and the way we notify you of how much money it actually costs for you to attend is through your billing statement. Students and any authorized users on TouchNet will receive an email when their billing statements are available. This normally happens about 24 to 48 hours after you register for classes. So if you've registered for classes within the last 24 or 48 hours, you should have this billing statement by now. All right. If you have not yet registered for classes, we can provide you estimates of what you may owe, but you won't have an official billing statement until you actually enroll in courses. Okay. Please be aware that no paper statements are mailed to your home address. It is only the electronic statement that gets emailed. If you do need to access that information outside of that email you receive, you're welcome to utilize TouchNet, which is our online billing site. The icon for TouchNet to access that site can be found right through the student's campus portal. Okay. If your student chooses to assign you as an authorized user, if you are a parent, a guardian, a guest in this webinar today, the student can choose authorized users who will receive their own unique link to TouchNet, which is the billing site. That way you won't have to log in through the campus portal. If your student needs assistance assigning you as an authorized user, they can always give our office a call and we can walk them through that process. It's fairly simple to do once the student is actually on TouchNet. There's a little box that says authorized users. They just click that and then input your email address. So it's fairly simple there. And again, that will give you access to all of the billing information that your student is receiving. So it's really great if the student is not the one primarily responsible for paying the tuition bill, that they sign whoever is up as an authorized user. That way there's a second set of eyes on that important billing information. Okay. So your tuition bill is going to include obviously the cost of tuition for the classes that your student enrolls in, any room and board fees if the student is residing on campus, And all academic and administrative fees, including an orientation fee for new first-year and transfer students, and any parking tab fees that are assigned to the student if they do pick up a parking pass. Just for information right now, parking passes are normally available the first week of classes. So normally right around August 25th through like September 15th is when students can go pick up their parking passes. Okay, so prior to picking up the pass, you won't see that billed to you on your statement. It won't be billed to your statement until you actually pick up the pass. This year, some instructors have opted to have their book fees included in the tuition statement. So if you see a fee for inclusive book access, that's what that is. It is a book fee from your instructor for one of your courses. All right. If you do need any information about if your class is going to have their books included in the tuition statement, you can check that on BlueNet under your class schedule after you enroll in courses. Okay. It is not many instructors that are having this done, but I always just like to mention this because if you do see an inclusive book access fee on your tuition bill, you might wonder what the heck that is. So definitely check your class schedule after you enroll in courses, and it will tell you what books you have to buy separately and what books will be included on your tuition statement. If you do have any questions about that or need further clarification about what is included on your specific statement, you can always give our office a call and we'll walk you through that information. Okay. So how much will you actually be billed once you enroll in classes? That is the million-dollar question there. How much will it actually be billed? Comprehensive tuition for our fall semester in 2021 is a total of $19,550. Please be mindful that these are ticket prices, okay, or I'm sorry, sticker prices. These are not the prices that include your individual financial aid. That is going to vary student to student based on what kind of scholarships and grants you're eligible for, okay? So these are just the sticker prices at this point. This is what you will see billed, and then you'll see your financial aid subtracted off of the total amount of your charges. Okay. So comprehensive tuition for full-time students for fall semester is going to be $19,550. And each student will also be billed an academic technology fee each semester of $150. If students are living on campus, you may see a room charge for either a double occupancy room or a single occupancy room. Those range from $3,214 for fall semester to $4,634 for fall semester. As a resident student, when you completed your housing application, you also had the opportunity to select one of 3 different meal plans. The cost for each of those meal plans is also listed on the screen. You can always change your meal plan prior to the start of the semester. So if you do need to change your meal plan, you can go to your housing application through your campus portal, or you can contact our Office of Residence Life. If you need their email address, they're located right in the directory in the campus portal. It's just reslife@elmhurst.edu. So if you have any questions about changing your housing or questions about the housing charges, feel free to contact the Office of Residence Life there. If you are living on campus, each residential student is also billed a $100 residential network fee each semester. That keeps all the cable connections, the Wi-Fi connections, everything like that up and running in the residence hall. If you are placed in an air-conditioned room, there is an additional $250 charge per term. So just be aware of that if your cost is not directly matching the either double occupancy price or the single occupancy price, maybe because you were placed with an air conditioning room. So you will have an additional $250 per semester that you will be billed. In addition to the tuition, the academic fees, the room, and the board, you may also have some additional fees. Like I mentioned before, any of our first-year students or new transfer students are billed an orientation fee of either $225 or $75. If you are going to be bringing your car to campus, you will have a parking tag fee once you do pick up that tag from the Office of Public Safety. Depending on what kinds of classes you're taking, you may have a science lab included, and there are some lab fees associated with those different classes. So you may see a lab fee on your billing statement if you're taking a biology or chemistry course, let's say. If you're a music student, you may have some applied music fees. The credit applied music fees, if you're taking the course for credit, is about $75 per course. If you're taking a non-credit course, it's $150. And then for select majors, as you get into your upperclassmen level courses, you may have malpractice insurance. So this is going to apply to those students who are working directly with clients in normally like a healthcare field. So speech pathology, nursing, you may have an insurance fee on there for malpractice insurance. So it may not apply to you right now when you're coming into Elmhurst for your first semester, but later down the line, we always just like to mention that. So again, it doesn't suffice you. Okay, so now that you've enrolled in classes, you've accepted your financial aid, you have your first billing statement, you're probably wondering, okay, how am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay this out-of-pocket cost? Well, this is where we bring up our payment plans. So you do always have the option to pay in full before the semester begins. If you did decide to pay that out-of-pocket cost in full, it would be due by August 15th, okay? So mark your calendars. If you're paying in full, you need to do so by August 15th, all right? If you don't register for classes until after August 15th, then your payment is due September 15th, all right? Just keep that in mind. So the 15th of the month is an important day to remember. If you're paying in full, your payment is due August 15th. Again, after you are billed, you are more than welcome to enroll in a payment plan if you do not want to pay in full. We offer 5-month payment plans each semester. So our fall semester payment plan will run from August to December, and each monthly installment will be due on the 15th of the month. So if you do decide to enroll in our fall semester payment plan, you will have monthly installments due on August 15th, September 15th, October 15th, November 15th, and December 15th, okay? What our monthly payment plan does is it just takes your out-of-pocket cost for the fall semester and it divides it by 5. And then once you register for spring semester classes and we bill you for spring semester, it will take your out-of-pocket cost for spring semester and divide that by 5. Okay. When you sign up for a payment plan, you have the option to make that plan automatic or non-automatic. The non-automatic plan offers more flexible payment options. You can pay online 1 month, you can pay in person the next, you can mail the check the 3rd month. So allows you just the flexibility to change the ways that you pay each month. The automatic payment plan is withdrawn from a bank account, okay, automatically on the 15th of the month. So if you do intend to enroll in the automatic payment plan, make sure that you have a bank account on file to enter as your payment method. All right. The automatic payment plan does have to be withdrawn from a bank account, a checking or a savings account. It cannot be withdrawn from a debit or a credit card. The reason for that is because card payments need to be authorized each time they're run. The payment plan pulls the payments at 12:01 a.m. on the 15th of the month. So you would have to be sitting on your computer at 12:01 a.m. the 15th of the month to authorize that payment to go through in order for the auto payment plan to work for you. And that's just silly. No one wants to be up in the middle of the night to authorize a payment on a credit or debit card. So make sure that if you are going to utilize the automatic payment plan, you use a checking or savings account number. And here are some screenshots. I'm sorry, I'll go back 1 page so I can kind of explain the screenshot on your screen here. The screenshot that you're looking at here is a snapshot of what TouchNet looks like. So once you register for classes and are billed for those classes, you will see that your balance is illustrated right there on the home page of TouchNet. If you intend to enroll in a payment plan, you can click the Enroll in Payment Plan button directly below where the balance is shown. Step 2 to enrolling in the payment plan would be to select whether you want that payment plan to be automatic or non-automatic. And as we discussed before, if it's automatic, make sure you have a bank account to associate that payment plan with and to withdraw the payments from. The 3rd step when enrolling in the payment plan is to review your payment schedule. So once you select automatic or non-automatic payments, it will show you what each monthly installment will be for you and the due date of each monthly installment. And your last step would be to enter the payment method information. So you can select the method for payment, whether that is going to, if you're paying in full, you can pay with an electronic check or a credit or debit card. If you are paying in a payment plan, in a non-automatic payment plan, you can change your payment method each month. If you're enrolled in the automatic payment plan, it will ask you to enter your account information, so that way it can pull from the same account each month. So as stated before, payments are due on the 15th of every month. If you enroll in a payment plan after August 15th, your first payment is due at the time of enrollment. So again, no matter what, this is going to be a 5-month payment plan. Okay, so let's say you register for courses on August 17th and you want to enroll in the payment plan. Fantastic. Your first payment will be due the day you enroll. Your second one will be due September 15th, then October 15th, November 15th, December 15th. So just kind of be aware of that. I'm not sure when you all are scheduled to enroll in your courses this summer, but if you do enroll in your courses that are billed after the 15th of August and intend to enroll in the payment plan, your first installment will be due the day you enroll in the plan. Any late payment fees, any late payments will be assessed a fee. So please be aware of that when you are paying the tuition bill. Again, if you're paying in full, that payment is due August 15th, or you must enroll in a payment plan by that time. Okay. If you're late on a monthly installment in the payment plan, it's a $90 fee. If you intend to pay in full and do not do so by August 15th, it will be a fee of 1% of your total balance. You always also want to stay up to date with payments, 1, to avoid those late fees, but 2, to avoid business holds. Any student that has a balance on their accounts that is past due is placed on something called a business hold. A business hold will prevent students from registering for future semesters at Elmhurst University. So we don't allow you to register for spring semester until you are either current on your fall semester payment plan or paid in full, if that's what you intended to do. There is also a deadline to enroll in the payment plan. So please be aware of this. The deadline to enroll in a payment plan is September 14th. Okay, so mark that on your calendar as well. We cannot extend payment plans beyond September 14th. Okay, so if you do intend to enroll in a payment plan, you must do so by September 14th. I think I've stated that date enough, but it does come up each year that students are late on enrolling in a payment plan, and then there is no longer that option after that date. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody's informed there. Okay, and the last little reminder here is regarding the FERPA. If you aren't familiar with the FERPA, it's an acronym that stands for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It is a federal law that protects the privacy of student education records. So what this means as it relates to financial aid is that, generally speaking, the financial aid counselors in my office cannot provide information to anybody except the student unless we have an authorization for release of student records on file. Okay, the student has to be the one to complete this form, and it can be found on eTreat, which is located on the campus portal. There's a screenshot of the eTreat form when students click the icon for that system. Okay. So primarily, Elmhurst University is going to communicate with the student. All right. The FERPA release, or the authorization for release of student records, allows us to communicate with family members, friends, guardians, whomever it might be that the student indicates we can work with. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that we will automatically be emailing whoever is on the FERPA form. We won't be regularly notifying them, but what it does mean is that the person listed on the FERPA form can give our office a call, they can send us an email, and we can very easily reply to their inquiries because we have this release on file. After a student enrolls at Elmhurst University is when we really crack down on these FERPA regulations. All right. So if you are the student and you've already registered for classes, but you know that Aunt Sally might want information about your account, definitely recommend completing the FERPA release and putting Aunt Sally on file with our offices. Okay. When students complete the FERPA release, you will have the opportunity to select what type of information it is okay for the university to share. Your options will be financial aid records, which includes information about your scholarships, grants, and loans. Student accounts records, which includes information about your billing and your payments. student affairs records, which includes information about your behavioral record on campus, and registration records, which includes information on your enrollment in your classes, your GPA, things of that nature. Okay. Or you can select all of the above and we can divulge all of that information to whomever you elect to add to that account. So again, it's important that if the student knows that somebody else is going to be contacting our administrative offices on their behalf, they put whoever is planning to do that on file using the FERPA release. Or if you know that you would prefer that information be shared with you, or you know that you would like to contact our offices about your student, you make sure your student completes this information. It is the student's preference on if they would like to complete this information. So if they're submitting this information and we feel like they might be being forced to do this, we will double check with the student directly to make sure that it is okay that we communicate with this family member or friend. Students, once you fill this out, you can always revoke it. So you're more than welcome to reach out to our office if you've had a change of heart and no longer want these individuals to have the information you elect. So we can always change this information as well. Okay. So again, the FERPA release is located on eTrieve forms, which can be found right on the campus portal. All right, so we can go ahead and open it up to questions now. Just a little bit more information about our office. We have our email address, our phone number, and our social media accounts listed there, as well as our address. So if you did need to mail us anything, you're welcome to utilize that address there. But otherwise, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelsey. I just popped the email as well for SFS
Awesome.
in the chat. So you guys have that there. I did a lot of answering of questions to direct messages on the side. So that's awesome. Just for those of you who had questions specific to your situation.